Good evening. Innovations have become the buzzword in COVID times, and that reflected in the realm of politics today when Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a political rally virtually. Addressing the people of Bihar, he exuded confidence that NDA will get two-thirds majority in Bihar Assembly polls slated later this year and in Nitish Kumar's leadership. We will tell you more on that. Also on the show tonight, how the Delhi government is battling charges of healthcare mismanagement as the number of COVID-19 cases rise in the national capital, and how states are preparing to usher in Unlock 1.0 from Monday. All that and more in this edition of Newsnight. I'm Munman Bhattacharya. Let's get started with the headlines. Union Home Minister Amit Shah connects with people in Bihar through a virtual rally from BJP headquarters in Delhi. Says this virtual rally is not a political rally but aims to bring the people of the country together in a fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Home Minister Amit Shah lauds the leadership of Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, gives an account of the implementation of Centre's package for Bihar of 1,25,000 crore rupees, assures that the second term of the Modi government at the centre is fully committed to development. Delhi government announces guidelines for Unlock 1.0. Delhi government hospitals will be reserved for the people of Delhi only, while central government hospitals in Delhi will remain open for all. Private hospitals, except those where special surgeries like neurosurgery are performed, also reserved for Delhi residents. Delhi's borders to be opened from Monday. Unlock 1.0 to further gather pace. States and union territories gear up to open religious places, malls, restaurants, hotels and offices from Monday. Religious places in Goa decide to remain closed. Bhopal administration also defers opening of religious places. Government continues to bring back Indians stranded abroad under Operation Samudra Setu and Vande Bharat mission. INS Jalashwa brings back 700 Indian nationals at Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu from Malé. 910 stranded Indians returned from Nairobi, Kuwait, Djibouti, Frankfurt, Ho Chi Minh City and Jeddah. Health Ministry clarifies that it is continuously taking advice of experts in the fight against COVID-19. A task force has been created for the same. India's response to COVID-19 shows good collective management and people's participation. Deaths just 0.49 per lakh of population. Cases per lakh at just 17.32. Numbers show cases in India are among the lowest in the world. Active cases of COVID-19 rise in India to 1,20,406, 1,19,292 people cured and discharged. Recovery rate stands at 48.37%. Over 69 lakh people worldwide infected by novel coronavirus. Deaths surpass 4 lakh. US tops the list with over 19 lakh people infected. Brazil comes at number 2 with over 6,72,000 patients. 5 terrorists killed by security forces in an encounter at Reban area of Shopia in Jammu and Kashmir. Identification of terrorists being ascertained. Incriminating material including arms and ammunition recovered. And World Food Safety Day is being observed today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls upon all stakeholders to ensure that the food we consume is safe, healthy and nutritious to boost immunity and stay healthy. At our focus tonight, the Delhi government is at the centre of a political storm over its decision to reserve government hospitals in Delhi for Delhi residents only during the COVID crisis. The opposition is calling the Aam Aadmi Party government insensitive and one that is trying to hide its failures. It has pointed out how barely a minuscule number of beds have been filled in Delhi hospitals while a majority are lying vacant. Here's more. The COVID-19 pandemic has not only brought the whole world at a standstill, but it has also exposed the loopholes in many health systems across the world. One such health system that can be seen collapsing is the one in Delhi. The number of patients and fatalities are rising with each passing day, and people are struggling to get treatment. Adding to people's woes, the state government has announced that the government hospitals and some private hospitals will be reserved only for Delhi residents.
5 डॉक्टर्स की कमेटी बनाई, बड़े बड़े डॉक्टर्स थे। उनका ये सुझाव है कि दिल्ली के सारे अस्पताल केवल दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए कुछ महीनों के लिए होने चाहिए और दिल्ली के अस्पतालों को पूरे देश के लोगों के लिए फिलहाल नहीं खोलना चाहिए।
In a virtual address to the media, the Delhi CM elaborated that the decision has been taken on the advice of a special 5-member committee of doctors. The committee has estimated that by the end of June, Delhi would require nearly 15,000 beds. He added that if they allow people from other states to get admitted in Delhi, they will acquire 9,000 beds currently available to them in 3 days. Earlier this week, the Delhi government banned testing of asymptomatic patients. It has blamed laboratories for flouting this norm. Kejriwal also said that black marketing of hospital beds was on. Lack of beds, manhandling of doctors, forging numbers. The Kejriwal government has landed itself in a soup with all these allegations piling against them. The Delhi Medical Association has blamed the Delhi government for not paying heed to the needs of doctors treating COVID patients.
Delhi Medical Association ये मांग करती है कि हर एरिया में, हर रीजन में एक नोडल ऑफिसर बनाया जाए जो कि इस चीज़ को देखे कि कोरोना की जो केयर हो रही है वो कैसे हो रही है और कोरोना की फैसिलिटीज़ किस तरह से दी जा रही हैं।
हमारी देश की जो जनता है दिल्ली में, एक आम आदमी है, एक आम आदमी को प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल में जाने की ज़रूरत क्यों पड़ रही है? हमारा इतने बड़े सरकारी हॉस्पिटल का सिस्टम है, हम उसको क्यों नहीं रिवैम्प करते? ये एक सुझाव आ गया कि हम एक हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल को एक प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल की रिसेप्शन में बिठाएंगे। मेरा अपने हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी से एक आग्रह है कि आप यही काम हमारी दिल्ली के 50 से ज़्यादा सरकारी अस्पताल में कीजिए।
The Bharatiya Janata Party expressed contempt for the shortcomings of the Delhi government. Delhi BJP chief Adesh Kumar Gupta, along with other party leaders, held a protest at Rajghat against Delhi government. However, they were detained by the police. Training guns on Arvind Kejriwal, Congress leader Ajay Makan said that 33 out of 38 hospitals under Delhi government are not admitting coronavirus patients.
दिल्ली की जनता के लिए जो कोरोना की समस्या है उससे निपटना चाहिए और जिस तरह से उन्होंने असंवेदनशीलता जाहिर की है, ये असंवेदनशीलता है कि आप कोई अस्पताल में आए, कोई बाहर का है, अंदर का है, सबका इलाज होना चाहिए। इस तरह की असंवेदनशीलता दिखाकर दिल्ली सरकार मुद्दों को भटकाना चाहती है।
दिल्ली जो हमारे यहाँ पर लोगों को हॉस्पिटल्स में जगह नहीं मिल रही, 4,400 में से दिल्ली में मात्र 28% दिल्ली सरकार के हॉस्पिटल्स के बेड ऑक्यूपाइड है। ये मैं सिर्फ दिल्ली सरकार की बात कर रहा हूं। दिल्ली सरकार के 72%, 72% दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के कोविड डेडिकेटेड 4,400 बेड में से 72% खाली हैं।
The number of patients and fatalities in Delhi is rising with each passing day, almost by 1,000 patients a day. The death toll in the national capital is over 750. The number of active cases has risen to 16,229. The number of containment zones is also on the rise. With the situation slipping out of hand, all one can hope is that the government will gather it all together so that people can receive the care they deserve. With Shailendra Mishra, News Night Desk, DD India. And that brings us to our In Focus tonight, which is that Delhi government battles charges of COVID-19 mismanagement. To talk about that, we have with us, joining us virtually, Dr. Rajinder K. Dhameka, expert in public health and the head of Department Neurology, Lady Hardinge Medical College, and later Praful Ketkar, senior journalist, who will also be joining us. Welcome to News Night, Dr. Dhameka. Your first thoughts on how the Delhi government has gone into a decision that is being criticized, especially by the opposition, wherein the government has decided to reserve Delhi hospitals during COVID crisis for Delhi residents. Has the Delhi government set the right precedent?
Thank you for having me. WHO has declared COVID-19 as a humanitarian crisis. And I feel that it is inhuman and unethical to deprive anyone suffering from COVID-19 for any treatment. So when I leave my house in the morning, my only job is to help the patient get better. For me, whether the patient comes from Noida or from Ghaziabad, from Delhi or any part of the country, my treatment remains the same. It does not affect from the person's residence or person's language or person's religion or person's any background. So for me, patient's wellness, how to treat that patient is supreme importance. So for me, I think it is all the patients are equal, and in this crisis, we should not be discriminating the patient on the basis of their residence or their language or anything like that. The virus does not discriminate between rich and poor, between person A or person B or person C. So why should we discriminate? As a doctor, as a medical professional, it is my utmost duty, and I am under oath to treat everyone with equal compassion, with equal effort. And for me, my only job is to get the patient better. So that's what I am, and that's what my profession says to me. For me, it is not, the only thing is to get the patient better at any cost. We need to treat this pandemic. We need to handle this pandemic in a more empathetic way. More, the way we should look after minimize the casualties, minimize the fatalities, and maximize the recovery. At the moment, we are having increasing numbers, and we have to care for those patients who are sick and serious, and we have to reduce the case fatality. Although we have a lower case fatality as compared to the other countries with the best of the medical facilities, but still I feel our focus should be for those people who are sick and who need hospitalization. So that I feel is, and not only this, I think the focus should be all around. The numbers are increasing, but that doesn't mean that we should be, caring for, thinking about the location and thinking about the place.
Yes, but if you look at the argument of the Delhi government, Dr. Dhameka, the Delhi government is saying that this was a recommendation of a committee of experts, and also 90% of the people who were polled, in a sense, on what the government should do in these circumstances favored that the Delhi hospitals should be reserved for Delhi residents. So that's the argument being put out by the Delhi government. Does that satisfy you?
Let me answer this. How can a patient from surrounding areas die for the want of a bed when the bed in the Delhi hospitals are vacant? In case the beds are not vacant, in any case the patient, even the Delhiite is not going to get that bed in these times of physical distancing and social distancing. If the bed is vacant, anybody should get it. If the bed is not vacant, then even some person from Delhi will not get it. These times we don't have more patients than the beds at any cost, maintaining physical distancing. So if a bed is vacant in Delhi and a patient from Noida or Ghaziabad or Faridabad or Gurgaon dies for the want of patient, it's highly, highly unethical. I don't think this is right. Whether this person says or that body says or this is my opinion as a doctor, and I'm under oath to treat each and every one.
Okay, so numbers that has been put out by the opposition are that out of 38 hospitals under Delhi government, 33 have not admitted corona patients, and even in those 5 hospitals where patients have been admitted of COVID-19, only 22% beds have been filled, which means that 78% beds are vacant. So when 78% beds are vacant, was it important for the Delhi government to go in for this radical decision of reserving Delhi hospitals only for Delhi residents?
I think the time is now, time demands that we should manage this properly, and we should have the centralized focus on having transparency in the bed position, whether it is private hospitals or government hospitals. Government has all the authorities under Pandemic Act to act against any hospital. If these things are not going right, they should take up this private hospitals or any other hospitals which refuses treatments or which refuses admissions. So at the moment, I think we have beds. If the beds are, 2 weeks from now, if the beds are not available, then there is no question of whether person from Delhi or person from Noida or person from anybody. If the bed is vacant, it is vacant for anyone. And we are one country. We have to fight it collectively. We cannot fight the corona when we have to think narrowly in these terms. So this time. I don't think anywhere in the world people are denied treatment based on their residence. Anybody can go anywhere. And at the moment, this time almost all the states have organized. We had not time to organize things and put the house in order because of our public health. Infrastructure was not very good. I think this is an opportunity in corona time that we have to fix our public health system. Our GDP expenditure on public health is only 0.9%. whereas countries like any other country in the developed world is having 12%, 13%, even 20%. So take it from me, we have to pull our socks and make our public health system, whether it is contact tracing or the surveillance system, we have to fix it and put it in order so that, this is not the last pandemic. The pandemics will come, the epidemics will come. There was an epidemic in 2002, there was an epidemic in 2009, there was an epidemic in 2013. So we will keep on getting these epidemics and we have to prepare for these epidemics based on our experience in these times. So I personally feel that we have to strengthen our public health systems and see that we can handle the pandemics like Corona-19 in a better way, in an effective way.
So you are saying that what is required is far better management, and this is not the last pandemic that we've seen. There'll be many more pandemics, and this is not the right approach towards dealing with the public health crisis of this proportion. And you're also saying that the entire medical fraternity is also bound under oath to take care of all patients, irrespective of their regions, etc. Praful Ketkar, senior journalist, is also with us. Mr. Ketkar, then is this a classic case of mismanagement by the Delhi government? Because we heard Arvind Kejriwal months back say that Delhi is prepared for all eventuality. They'll be testing over 1 lakh people, just like South Korea had been testing a lot of people. He's cited the South Korean model in the past, and look at what things have come to today.
See, this is a classic place where, politics, takes precedence. An absurd kind of regionalism is taking precedence over the real issue of health management. As respected doctor rightly said, this is a test for our cooperative federalism. And we have shown that to a large extent when it came to the migrant crisis. Without the coordination between states, it wouldn't have been possible. But now what Delhi government is doing is, on the one hand, parallel to Arogya Setu, launch its own app. That own app, while doing that, Delhi government said we have sufficient beds, sufficient infrastructure, sufficient healthcare system. And when those numbers started contradicting with their own app, then they came up with this, political game, blame game, or, differentiating people on their, demography or regional, their residence. This is really irresponsible. The PR management exercise by Delhi government. Unfortunately, most of the media refuse to pay attention to the kind of situation that has been worsening in Delhi, and the way entire healthcare infrastructure, Delhi government has been claiming that they have improved the healthcare infrastructure, not just in last 3 months, but over the last 5 years. That is being tested now, and it shows that perhaps even in last 3 months, the kind of opportunity that should have been used to upgrade the public health infrastructure and create sufficient facilities for corona patients, including the quarantine facilities and the testing facilities. And to cover up that, now Delhi government is getting into this confrontationist mode as usual.
And, taking that point forward of a confrontationist approach, we've seen that inquiries have been initiated by the Delhi government against those laboratories who tested, according to them, asymptomatic patients. Besides that, we've seen an FIR lodged for not using a COVID test app, which also you referred to. Perhaps the FIR has been lodged against the Delhi government. So is this really part of the answer, or are these signs of panic, or, like you say, an attempt to hide failure and shift blame on others?
Unfortunately, it shows the panic mode. When you can't, you just manage the media and the perception and not do something really on the ground, then you have to play certain tricks. So you started with first claiming that there are sufficient beds, but now when those numbers started showing on your own app, you have now blaming private labs. You claim that there are 42 labs. Why enough testing is not done? Whenever the question about testing is asked, Delhi government always says that sufficient testing is done. We know there are many localities and many areas that they are already in containment zone. So and there is a spread and two clear-cut cases of mismanagement. One is Delhi and the other is Mumbai. Two big cities are facing worst kind of crisis, and at both places, unfortunately, the politics is taking precedence over the health management.
Absolutely, and perhaps it also does not behove the administration of the national capital of India to take such decisions of blocking people from other states from treatment for COVID-19 into their hospitals. Thank you, Praful Ketkar, as well as Dr. Rajinder Dhameka for having joined us on Newsnight tonight. We'll come back to you, Praful Ketkar, for another discussion, but for now, thank you so much. Well, putting all queries regarding containment and management of COVID-19 at rest, the Ministry of Health said that the government is taking all necessary steps to fight the disease. The government is constantly seeking advice from experts. A national task force has been formed in this context. Well, the task force has 21 members and is headed by the member of Niti Aayog. A task force has experts from the field of public health and other concerned sectors who are formulating strategies to fight COVID-19 from time to time. The task force has conducted 20 meetings so far. The decision for the nationwide lockdown was taken so that the virus did not spread rapidly. Unlike many Western or developed countries where the doubling rate and death rate were very high, India has a low doubling rate and death rate. The virus is new, therefore not much information is available on it. The government is making strategies based on the data it is receiving from the field or ground. Different strategies are needed for different phases of the pandemic. Strategies implemented in a phased manner are considered good for health systems. So the government is saying that it is moving very, very strategically as far as decisions on lockdown, etc. are concerned. Well, with phase 1 of Unlock 1.0 set to roll out from Monday, religious places or places of worship are set to reopen in most states, and so are hotels, restaurants and malls. But schools won't open just yet. Also, international air travel, metro rail and cinema halls and large gatherings will only open in the later phases.
The nation is in Unlock 1.0 mode. And from Monday, 8th of June, restaurants, hotels, shopping malls and places of worship are also being reopened. In several states, places of worship like temples, mosques, gurdwaras and churches will also reopen after remaining closed for over 2 months. But this time, people will have to take preventive measures suggested by the government to contain the spread of novel coronavirus. At places of worship, it is mandatory to take off sandals and shoes before entering. It has been suggested not to distribute prasad or holy water. Social distancing norms to be followed in organizing langars or community kitchen. Special focus should be on sanitization within the campus. Devotees and management of places of worship both will have to follow all these norms.
कई जिलाधिकारियों ने अपने जनपद में जहां भी धार्मिक स्थल हैं वहां के प्रबंधन से संपर्क स्थापित कर लिया है और सबका प्रयास है कि गाइडलाइंस के अनुरूप कार्य हो और उसी के अनुरूप जो है अनुमति दी जाए।
हर प्रवेश द्वार पर जो है सैनिटाइजिंग की व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए, तो हमने यहाँ सैनिटाइजिंग टनल लगाई है। उसके अलावा हाथ धोने के लिए जो सैनिटाइजिंग डिस्पेंसर भी लगा रहे हैं और मंदिर के अंदर प्रवेश करने के लिए एक उचित दूरी बनाने के लिए हमने मार्किंग भी की है। मंदिर के अंदर फूल प्रसाद नहीं चढ़ेगा।
Some states have decided not to reopen places of worship. Temple, churches and mosques in Goa have decided to remain closed for some more time, even though the state government has allowed reopening of religious places from Monday as part of the lockdown relaxations. In Rajasthan, the government has left the decision of opening places of worship to a committee headed by the district collector. In Kerala, a thermal scanner will be installed at Nilakal, Pampa and Sannidhanam temple complexes.
We are strictly implementing the guidelines issued by them. We are going to introduce a virtual queue system. The total duration in the morning is 8:15 to 11:15, and in the evening from 4 to 5.
Though the Kerala government has allowed places of worship to reopen from June 9, major mosques across the state have decided not to open their gates to worshippers for the time being. The Palayam Jama Masjid in the state capital was among the prominent mosques that decided against reopening next week. In Madhya Pradesh, the Bhopal administration has announced that religious places will not be open for now. The decision to open them will be taken next week after a review.
भोपाल के सभी धर्मगुरुओं के द्वारा ये फीडबैक दिया गया है कि अभी वो पूरी तरह से इसको खोलने में थोड़ा सा एक हिचकिचाहट है, वो तैयारी के लिए थोड़ा सा समय चाहते हैं। तो हम लोगों ने ये तय किया है कि कल से धार्मिक स्थल भोपाल में अभी नहीं खुलेंगे, एक रिव्यू और होगा इसका, उनके साथ बैठक होगी, बात होगी और पूरे कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ फिर इसको अगले सप्ताह से खोला जाएगा।
Meanwhile, preparations are going on at the places of worship as per the guidelines of the government. Cleanliness drive is at full swing in various temples of the country. Mosques are also being cleaned as per government guidelines. Sanitizers, tissue papers, screening machines and other necessary equipment are being made available in the mosques. And posters of following social distancing norms are also being pasted at the gates. Preparations for reopening have been almost completed in most churches. Benches used by devotees have also been cleaned. Clearly, all precautions have been stipulated for a safe and orderly unlocking of all activities in the first phase. People need to follow them sincerely for their own health and well-being. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And here's a look at how states are preparing for reopening of restaurants, hotels and shopping malls. Restaurants, hotels, shopping malls are all set to open up beginning Monday. In its guidelines, the central government has mandated that restaurants, hotels and shopping malls will have to ensure social distancing with face masks mandatory for gaining entrance. Sanitizer dispenser and thermal screening are mandatory at the entry gate. Use of Arogya Setu app has been suggested. There should be separate entry and exit gates. Following CPWD directions is necessary for air conditioning. Limited number of people will be allowed in the lift. Proper crowd management in parking lots and outside the premises, duly following social distancing norms, shall be ensured. Valet parking, if available, shall be operational with operating staff wearing face covers or masks and gloves as appropriate. A proper disinfection of steering, door handles, keys, etc. of the vehicles should be taken up, and of course, social distancing is to be followed at all times. Talking of malls across the country, cinema halls, gaming arcades and children play areas in these establishments will remain closed. Staggering of visitors is to be done if possible. Mall management needs to ensure adequate manpower is deployed to ensure social distancing norms. Specific markings may be made with sufficient distance to manage the queue and ensure social distancing in the premises. Preferably, separate entry and exits for visitors, workers and goods or supplies shall be organized. The staff for home deliveries shall be screened thermally by the shopping mall authorities prior to allowing home deliveries. Proper queue management and disinfection shall be organized. Maintaining physical distancing of a minimum of 6 feet when queuing up for entry and inside the shopping mall is advisable. Number of